We're now ready to pour our impressions into study models. First, we're going to take air and we're going to blow any excess water out of our impression. We want to make sure that the teeth are completely dry so that any water left in could cause voids in our impression in the end. From when we made our tongue, we want to remove the paper towel. We're now ready to pour. When we pour one model, we would use 200 grams of stone. It takes 100 grams to fill the teeth and 100 grams for the base. Because I'm pouring two, an upper and lower, I'm going to use 400 grams of material. With 400 grams of material, I need 120 milliliters of water. Each of these containers is 60 milliliters, so I need two. Then going to add my powder. And mix. I want a nice creamy smooth consistency of my stone. And then I'm going to take my first model and I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of material, and I'm just going to let it flow completely around, letting any air bubbles pop. I want to fill in the occlusal surfaces of my models first. Any air bubbles I see, I need to pop them. About another half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of material and let it flow. And just keep adding small amounts till we get our teeth completely full. Again, any air bubbles that surface, we need to pop. Filled in and all my air bubbles have surfaced, I can start to add stone a little more aggressively. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with my lower. Make sure the occlusal surfaces are completely filled first before I add more material, making sure that all of the air bubbles have surfaced and popping them where necessary. I'm going to start making my bases. I'm going to take extra material and just pile it on top of both impressions. If I find that my material is a little bit weak or a little runny, I can add a little bit extra powder. I don't want a base that keeps falling. I want a base that's quite firm. I'm going to take half my material, place it on each of the base slates. Just in a ball. Then going to invert this. Just so you can see, what you're going to do is pull up the back of your impression first. You want to make sure that there isn't any space between your impression and the stone base. You want to wiggle it down just slightly because you want a little bit of material off on the sides to be able to trim after. Just making sure that there aren't any spaces again between the impression and the base. We'll do the same thing for the upper and the lower. Pulling up in the posterior, wiggle it down just slightly and make sure that there aren't any spaces between the base and the tray. You can see I have a little extra material to leave me room for trimming later on, but I don't have an excess amount. I want to make sure that my impressions are both sitting very level, very parallel with the counter. When you make your bases, you want to make sure that your material never comes up, that you're burying your tray in the stone. If your tray is buried in the stone, you'll have a difficult time getting it apart later.